I'm going to take just a moment to thank Congressman Mark Souder publicly for all the effort that you and your staff put into our student visit to D.C. last week. It was pretty eventful on a couple of fronts. I think we set off only one alarm, so we're grateful for you running interference for us. And I'd like to invite Congressman Souder to the podium to give us an update on what's going on in Washington.
One of the common questions getting this week as a member of the Indiana delegation is, do you have anything special for the Colts? And I said, well, you ought to talk to our U.S. Senate candidate. He's got a son named Peyton. My kids are too old to rename at this point, but it's an exciting thing. I was going to read this letter from Speaker Pelosi to you, but I don't speak these words. We had a big decision to make earlier this week. The Republican retreat's going on right now, and I had to decide whether to come back home to Leo last night for our annual tribute to the veterans and come with you, or to hear President Obama a second time. And it wasn't a close call. Yesterday morning on WNDU, they were asking me some things about the State of the Union. One email question came in and said, are you going to say no to everything this president proposes? And it was so great being from the party of no to say yes. This is the first time since 1995 that we have a pro-abortion president, a pro-abortion speaker, and a pro-abortion head of the Senate. This past year, we've increased funding for abortion more than any time since 1995. We've increased funding for Planned Parenthood to do abortions around the world. We've taken off restrictions. The president changed executive orders, that we've provided funding, that the health care bill that thus far hasn't passed, Planned Parenthood said we put a Planned Parenthood clinic in every county in America. This is the biggest single attempt to expand abortion in American history. Now, at the tail end of the day, they had to get an amendment that was actually a good amendment. It was very controversial, and we had a big battle inside the Republican Party because those of us who were pro-life felt we needed to back it, even if it was attached to a bad bill. Didn't vote for the bill, but we had to do the pro-life amendment, but they'll strip that out. They're trying to get the foot in the door of anything they can get in the door, because once they grant that the federal government's going to take over health care, it is inevitable. And in the original base bill that went through Ed and Labor, the Miller bill is actually the base bill, not the Waxman bill. The chairman of the subcommittee, in debate, when I offered the two pro-life amendments, the Conscience Clause and no federal funding, he said, if there is federal funded health care, there will be federal funded abortion. It's a constitutional right. That is where we're headed, and we have to stop it. And we have to be the conscience of America. It isn't just marching in election year, it's marching in the non-years. That whether we win or lose, there'll be good times when we seem to make a little progress, and hopefully eventually we'll ban at least the public funding and overturn Roe v. Wade, and maybe we won't. But when you come out on cold mornings every year in this area and in Washington, it's a conscience mark. Everybody who sees it on TV, everybody who sees it in the newspaper, everybody in the community that says, we will not go away. Years ago, I got to Jerusalem in Israel on the 50th anniversary. That my wife Diane and Denny Hastert and I had gone into the old city, and as we were coming out, we saw lots of their youth marching around for their children's march. Lots of Orthodox and ultra-Orthodox who are very pro-life and have big families. And I remember Denny saying, this is why Israel isn't going to go away. You see all these young people committed to keeping Jerusalem under the control of the Jewish nation. Well, that's what I saw at the pro-life march. These hundreds of kids coming in from Fort Wayne. I took one group from Dwenger, another that had lots of Lure students. We had kids from Homestead and Leo and Norwell and other places too, but particularly large groups from Lures and Dwenger. You know what? Their questions were substantive. Their comments were substantive. There was a quality of their understanding. and people who are pro-life aren't aborting our kids. Our kids are going to be here, they're going to fight, they're being developed by parents and communities. That's our long term, because if we can't get it done with us, our kids are going to win. Thank you very much.
Souder, always appreciate hearing your words of encouragement, and the days do get dark from time to time, and I'm sure even darker in Washington. So I'm asking all of us here to commit to pray for Congressman Souder, his wife Diane, and his family as they continue to be a light in a very dark place. Thank you so much.